Good morning, welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning with myself, Baz. I hope today finds you well. Friday. Are you taking a half day today? Or are you just taking Friday off altogether? Or are you working until 5 o'clock? Tell me in the comments. Anyway, Cameron Carter-Vickers, will he start tonight? And what about Kieran Tierney? Kieran Tierney is a player that Brendan Rodgers says it's all about managing his time. The first two games of the season, Kieran Tierney was taken off, and it's all been pre-arranged beforehand due to the fact that they want to manage his time at Celtic. Brendan Rodgers said that, look, he hasn't played a lot of games over the last couple of seasons. He says he's played, obviously, he's been injured, so we don't want to injure him. He's been his own worst enemy, says Brendan Rodgers about Kieran Tierney. He says that, look, he's the type of player that will want to play the 90 minutes, but he's also the type of player that even if he feels a niggle, he'll feel that he can get to the end of the game and then hopefully sort it out after the game, which isn't the case with Kieran Tierney, unfortunately, over the years. But working as part of our back four, it looks like Kieran Tierney will drop to the bench tonight. And it'll be interesting to see what lineup Brendan Rodgers does start with. Now, one game that may excite you, or may not, might be this one. Are you fed up of not seeing Celtic during international friendly weeks? Well, this year in October, there's going to be a Legends game between Feyenoord and Celtic. And part of it will be celebrating the fact that Wim Jansen helped stop 10 in a row by the old Rangers. And it's something that we haven't really celebrated with Feyenoord. But they are doing a match that's for their foundation, and it will be a Celtic Legends game. And I think I wouldn't mind going to that one. I think that would be a good one to go. I'm not generally a fan of these sort of Legends games. But that one, it has a bit of significance. Because we can all remember the day when we thought we were going to win the league back in Dunfermline that year, and Celtic fans took over Dunfermline in unbelievable numbers until a ball come over and there was a header, and I was diagonally in line with the ball as it floated over Jonathan Gould, and it seemed to take for an age, and it's as if time stopped and you watch the ball just float over and into the back of the net. And it stopped us winning the league in Dunfermline that year, but didn't stop us altogether, because Harold Bratback had other things on his mind than scoring that goal at Celtic Park to make sure that we stopped 9 in a row. And ultimately, Celtic would go on to win a second 9 in a row. Yes, we created our own history at Celtic, having won 2 9 in a row, but having remembered the man Wim Jansen, who in my eyes is an absolute legend, and him and his number 2 should never have left Celtic. But anyway, we move on from that. Celtic are in desperate need of wingers. A couple of journalists have been speaking about the fact that we're needing wingers, and they said that Celtic should try and bring Ben Doak back to the club. What crazy planet did they live on? Because unbelievably, Liverpool actually want 20 million for Ben Doak. Yeah, work that one out. He's hardly any game time, but a couple of journalists have been speaking about the fact that Liverpool Ben Doak is an exciting young Scottish talent, and Celtic are screaming out, would you take him back? I mean, you've got clubs like Leeds, West Ham that are all keeping tabs on him. They can afford the 20 million if it comes to that. I don't think he will go for 20 million, but a couple of Scottish journalists have been saying the fact that Celtic, who are in desperate need of wingers, should look at bringing Ben Doak back to the club. Would he come back to Celtic if Celtic were even to try and do a deal? And it's never going to happen. Just journalists. It's just the fact that there's hardly any real Celtic news going around, that they're just talking about it and just making stuff up, aren't they? Anyway, there is one player from Manchester United. His agents have come out and said, a left back at Manchester United, he said, look, there's not been any contact from Celtic whatsoever. Celtic have been consistently linked with bringing a Manchester United left back. We've been linked to it. See if I were to do a video of every single player, it would probably be about an hour's long video. talking about every player that we've been linked with since the beginning of June this year. And we were linked with another winger last night, the night before. I can't even remember when it was. It was coming through African football. I don't believe a word of that one either. I'm not going to even add to it. I mean, it's in the price range that Celtic could more than likely pay £3 million, but he's wanting 1.5 million a year in wages, allegedly. But we'll wait and see. There's no use adding to it. Anyway, Falkirk tonight. It is all about Falkirk. That's the big game, isn't it? If we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to win the treble, you've got to win games like this. Last year, Falkirk were ahead twice in the game. Remember that? Brendan Rodgers put on some of the players that were deemed as sort of backup players, and they were having a bit of a nightmare. Celtic hoisted the League Cup trophy last December. If you remember that as well, let's just move on. And the odds for the game, Celtic are to win are 7-4. Both teams to score. Paulo Bernardo to score any time is 5-2 if you're a betting man. Shin Yamada to score and over 3 goals to Celtic for them to win. For Celtic to win from behind, to come from behind, like they did last year, is 14-1 if you're a betting man. Celtic to win, both teams to score is 7-4. Falkirk made the trip at the same stage last year, and they led, didn't they, at one point? In fact, they led twice. Celtic finally ran out 5-2 winners after Brendan Rodgers went, hold the bus here, and brought on some of the more experienced first team players. That's a good one with Paulo Bernardo, because I think he'll score. I think he'll start tonight. For him to score, it's 5-2. Paulo Bernardo hasn't featured in the games so far this season, but he could. Well, he has, but he could go out and really put a marker down for the manager and saying, why am I not getting played? He was brought from Benfica after the loan season, brought in for £6 million. It's a lot of money to be sitting on the bench. I mean, people talk about Adam Eden not being a number 2 striker and being on the bench, but when you've got Paulo Bernardo, Arnie Engels, Luke McCowan, I mean, there's straight off, there's 16, 17 million pounds, 18 million pounds worth of player sitting on the bench every week for Celtic, and I don't see anybody complaining about that, but it is what it is. Anyway, Shin Yamada to score over 3 goals and Celtic to win after Falkirk score first, pays 14-1 if you're a betting person. Brendan Rodgers suggested that he could introduce some more of these players. He's going to do it. I've said it all along, and the team that I put out yesterday morning says that Brendan Rodgers will start these players more this game, because you've got to give them the cup run. You've got to give Sinisalo the cup run. I mean, you give Sinisalo the cup run to the final, if you ask me. If we get to the final, we will, because we're doing a treble this year, and then it'll be managed decline. Anyway, Celtic have kept clean sheets twice this season already, so I have went for 3-0 Celtic. Tell me your scoreline in the comment section. I think that Celtic, they've got Falkirk. We could do them easily. We could win this game. Falkirk have scored 17 goals in 6 games this season. That's the only thing. But we beat them 5-2 last year. Are you worried about the game at all? Are you worried about it might go the same way as last year, or are the players that are going to be we're going to start, that are bench players the past 2 games? Do you think that they will have the experience to just go, nah, come on, there's no mucking about here. Get as far as ahead as you can in the game for the 60-minute mark, and then make 4 or 5 changes, whatever you're allowed in the cup. But anyway, Shin Yamada, that's a good one for him. Celtic are expected to line up with. I don't know why some people have got Schmeichel starting this game, but for me, I've got Sinisalo starting. You give Sinisalo the cup, rest Kasper Schmeichel for the Champions League. Ralston, Trusty, Scales, Tierney, Engels, McGregor, Bernardo, Forrest, Yamada and Dyson Maeda is one lineup that I'm reading this morning. It's not the lineup that I think at start. I think Brendan will go in with the wholesale changes like he did last year. You know, Falkirk may be underdogs, but they like the underdog status, don't they? The fact that it's at Celtic Park, there's going to be a decent-sized crowd there. I think that Celtic will make massive changes to the game, and it won't really affect them too much. But could Scott Bain come back and try and steal his bench seat back? Or will he walk past it and say, oh, there's my seat? But then he'll say it's not my seat anymore because Celtic have changed the dugout and it's a brand new dugout. So he maybe look and say, oh, it's forgot, it's in my back garden, isn't it? Anyway, tell me your score predictions in the comment section. Kieran Tierney, has he been his worst own enemy? And when it comes to transfer talk, there's just lots of rumours. Just lots and lots of rumours. There's no use really talking about them. Anyway, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans. I'm going for 3-0. Tell me your prediction in the comment section, and I'll see you an hour and a half before the game tonight, where we'll see exactly what team Brendan Rodgers has put out for the game. Will it be a team of massive changes, or will it be as you were, as Brendan Rodgers wants to make sure that he gets the treble? I still think he'll leave.